It took the Dons 636 minutes and 7 league games to score our first goal in the Scottish Premiership and gain our first win. All we needed was 11 first half minutes, and along came 3. At long last, the Dons are up and running. But it means we stay bottom of the table still, but we have now significantly closed the gap on Dundee, on Falkirk, on Livingston, and you could argue Rangers, who are now managerless, Hibs and Motherwell, who also only have one win in the league so far this season. The Dons are back. We are back. How are we doing? Well, wasn't that an awful lot better? How good was that, by the way? I have to admit, as we said on the preview show, as we said back after the Shakhtar game, that I was still a wee bit nervous going into this game. But absolutely spot on. And huge credit to the players, to the management, to the coaches who got it absolutely spot on Saturday. For me personally, I don't know what you think, but I think it's a very important step forward because it showed, again, like the Shakhtar game, despite the defeat, it showed a togetherness. It showed more of a fighting battle, a fighting spirit, to keep going, to want more, as in score more goals. It was just a hugely significant, much more rounded display, I thought. What do you think of the international break? So I posed the question to Andrew Budge. So Andrew and I spoke this morning. We've analysed the game at some length. And what we've done for you is we have shown the impact of Jesper Karlsson and, in particular, Stuart Armstrong, who I thought was magnificent. I have to be honest, I thought all the players got pass marks on Sunday. I thought they were all absolutely brilliant. I really did. I thought it was a fantastic team effort. And I have to say, I was delighted for Yimmy. I really was pleased for him because the pressure was well and truly on. Interesting formation and also a number of changes from the Shakhtar team, which we fully expected because of resting players, squad rotation, all that sort of stuff. So he made a number of changes, and the changes most definitely helped. How good was Gyamfi playing further forward? Nicky Devlin playing almost as a right centre-back alongside Jack Milne and Mats Knuster, who I thought also were fantastic. Adil playing further forward. Kevin continually just ran all day, made himself busy. I really thought it was an excellent performance. If we take a look at the match stats for you, there we are. So 62.8% of possession overall, 20 shots in total, of which 9 were on target. Touches inside the box, significant, way up, significantly up on Shakhtar Donetsk, 34. I understand there's a huge gulf in difference between Dundee and Shakhtar. I get that, but it was hugely significant. As was the successful final third passes, nearly 3 times as much, 82 to Dundee's 35. So overall, hugely improved. This is what the manager had to say to Red TV after the game.
No, I'm so happy for the players and everybody connected with Aberdeen Football Club to celebrate together. It's been really tough weeks, and but we don't go too deep. We have to try to be strong all the time and focus on the right things and try to work day by day and improve ourselves. And we saw some signs against Shakhtar, and today it was a really good performance again, and also with a short turnaround. So I'm proud of the players that they get this mentality. They're pressing harder, they're running more, they were strong in the duels, and then the rest of the things will come more like connections and today, again, the connection with the fans and the whole game and the spirit that this dynamic creates, I'm really happy for everybody involved.
Yeah, not just the victory today, but the quality in which the way, that you won, quality of the goals, quality of the football, the clean sheet as well. Everything went to plan, as you say, only a start, but a very good way to do it.
Yeah, it was some really good goals and the way we stay more connected in center of the pitch and but still have the width and the running capacity. So and also that we are getting a little bit more intense in our pressing and step by step and week by week. And so it was a good start of the game, of course, and then we could play on that. So it was a good day for everyone.
He looked a lot happier, didn't he? Talking to Red TV straight after the game. Don't forget, Ali Beg AB TV is brought to you and supported by Salt Tire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. As well as that, they offer a number of services, including torquing, testing, refurbishment, and welding. My continued thanks to everybody for the support at Salt Tire Energy. Okay, what I'll do is just before we I tell you what we'll do. Let's get Andrew on first, because I always like to get Andrew on so that you guys can respond to what he discusses. So this is quite chunky, as it normally is. It's about 15 minutes long, but we had lots to discuss. We've got lots to show you. I really hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to the show, as always, to analyse yesterday's game. Andrew Budge. Hello, mate. Thanks, as always, for jumping on. Are you fine?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good man. Okay, right, let's crack on. We've got a few graphics to get through today. First and foremost, just before we get into it, just give us your general thoughts. It was so much better, eh?
Oh, delighted.
Yeah.
It's nice to, very rare on the rare occasion, to be joining you with a victory. I feel like there's not been many of them in the league since I've been doing this like almost a year.
I know,
And
it's mad.
it's not been many victories in the league. But yeah, it was a great performance. I liked everything about it, to be honest. I thought the setup, which we'll come on to, worked really well. We were saying before, I think pretty much everyone got past marks, with some really notable performances from the likes of obviously Carlson, Gyamfi. I thought Shinnie was great in midfield. Just so many standout performances, and which a lot of people going into it said was going to be maybe a bit of a tricky fixture. I know they're down at the bottom with us, but on paper they could have really sat in and given us a tough game, but we just blew them away in the first half. So yeah, delighted.
Okay, you mentioned the setup. Talk us through it and what was significant about it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk of formations recently. We kind of stuck with the 4-2-3-1 for quite a lot of the season so far, and we've had some success in terms of performances in recent weeks from moving to a 3 or 5 at the back. So it was interesting to see that we kind of stuck with a similar system as we did against Shakhtar and Motherwell in the fixture at the weekend. So yeah, it was a bit of a dilemma for Yemi. Does he go back to his 4-2-3-1, or does he continue with what he's had a little bit of success with? I thought we've not had the results that we want. I think we've been playing quite a bit better in recent weeks. So what I've pulled up here is just a sort of average position map of the game at the weekend against Dundee. And what you can see from that quite clearly is that sort of 3 at the back that we continued with. It's interesting because it can be a 3 or a 5 depending how you look at it. You do technically have 5 defenders on the pitch there, being sort of Devlin, Milne, Knuster, Gyamfi and Jensen, but it was still really attacking. It was I thought we got quite a good balance between potentially having more defenders on the pitch, but they were still really clear in their attacking intent. And what that also gave us was a really strong base to build from, I thought. We didn't really give Dundee a sniff throughout the whole game. The back 3 of Devlin, Milne and Knuster has really good balance to it. It was interesting. Devlin was kind of like a right centre back, and I thought he played really well.
Yeah.
We're talking about the sort of balance. Devlin can drive forward even from right back. It means we're not too defensive with having that many sort of defensive minded players on the pitch. He has the ability to drive forward, as we've seen from right back. So even just having them as a centre back, he can still be an option and build up and sort of commit forward from deeper positions. I thought he did that well. We know Knuster's good on the ball and he's got a good passing range. So yeah, I really liked what Yemi did there. The midfield 2 was a really good base as well. I thought Shinnie and Armstrong dovetailed nicely, and Armstrong will come on to. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
And then you've got sort of the full-backs or the wing-backs pushed really high, as we can see in this graphic, 28 being Jensen and 77 Gyamfi. Gyamfi was incredible, great up and down the line. I would have liked to have seen him come off a little earlier. I thought he was walking quite gingerly at points, but he was really good. And interestingly, so in this formation, we've got our three at the back, we've got a line of four in midfield, and then you've got sort of Arshish and Carlson sort of dovetailing or next to or sort of flanking Nisbet. Nisbet was dropping deep quite a lot, and then I thought Arshish and Carlson had quite a lot of freedom, just kind of go where they wanted, and the one was left, one was right, but they still moved around quite nicely. What I liked also as well is Arshish would drop deep and build up. So Carlson, as you can see, is the most sort of furthest forward in that position, almost like a forward because of Nisbet dropping deep, and also Arshish was a bit deeper. And what sort of criticisms I've had of him so far is I don't think he gets involved enough at points in the game. I liked how much more he was dropping deep when, say, one of Milner, the back three had the ball. He was always a passing option, sort of from deeper positions that meant we could sort of play through Dundee quite well. So I think that was all spot on, and we'll come on to it in a bit more detail shortly. But yeah, Carlson, I thought he had a brilliant all-round performance with some incredible goals, and it's just interesting to see him have that much freedom, and he was a really good outlet up top, as almost like a striker. But yeah, I thought Yumi got his system bang on.
Yeah, you've mentioned Jesper Karlsson there. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal, and we're going to have to enjoy him while he's here, because if he continues to play like this, as much as I would love to see him stay beyond his loan deal, I can't see it happening. So I think we have to enjoy him while we can. He was absolutely outstanding on the day, and his stats and his heat map just prove the point.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I put a post up on X the other day about I saw Duke's goal the weekend, his free kick,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
said he's one of the most talented players I'd seen at Pittodrie, and I think he's going to give definitely Duke a run for his money, if not be even better. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible against Dundee. As I said before, we've pulled up his heat map here, and what that kind of just shows us is the free role that he had. So he really just had the license just to roam and just get involved just wherever he saw fit and wherever he could sort of make the most input in the game, which I really liked. He predominantly played from the left and could cut in as he likes to do, but he'd also pop up on the right or in central positions. And yeah, as we said before, he was the sort of almost like the leading forward for us, playing furthest up top, and just so many great contributions to the game, which I loved. He was really good at running in behind. So we had a great chance early on when Milne sort of pinged a nice 50-yard ball, and it's him running in behind. I think it was in that case he sort of squared to Nisbet and perhaps should have scored, but he was also sort of really integral in the second goal as well. So he just really pivotal in so many different areas of the game. He even just had little moments of class. I think there was one in the first half where the ball was played up to him on the left, and he just did this amazing touch with his chest. It was just little things like that. You just see what a player you have in your hands, and yeah, I would like to see him stay for longer, but I think it'll be short and sweet, and we might not see him that long at Pittodrie, so we've got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the fourth goal was just absolutely incredible. He clearly doesn't like using his left foot all the time. He likes to fashion a chance to get back onto his right, but just like the speed of movement and his quick feet, and then just the quality of the strike was just incredible. And you mentioned the stats. I thought he put in just like a real all-round performance, to be honest, and that really was born in the stats. If you're just looking at some of these that you pull up on screen, it was the most shots in seven of all players. He pretty much led in any attacking metric you can find. He was pretty much best in the park. So that was shots on target. His XG was highest of all players. Touches in the box was 7. Even then, chances created, he had 6. That was potentially with him being sort of corner taker as well, but that was the most of all players. And also, all of his dribbles were successful in 6 out of 6, and even won some ground duels. He did well there. So I just thought he had a really great all round performance, and just the fact he could be so high up or leading in all of those different metrics just shows how many sort of areas he has to his game. So yeah, we've got quite a player in our hands. So just got to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Stuart Armstrong, because I thought he was absolutely outstanding in the game. I thought he bossed the game, completely controlled it from beginning until when he came off. I just thought he was superb. And you've given us a few examples here of just exactly what his input was in the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Carlson will get the sort of headlines for his goal
Yeah.
contributions, but yeah, just so many different areas. His range of passing was great. I loved his movement, really, really intelligent, and he's just so composed in possession. One of the bits I really liked of his performance was just his range of passing. He was finding a lot of these line breaking passes that we've mentioned before that we've just not been executing as much. We've seen a lot of sort of sideways or maybe a bit of negative play from us, or just not having the bravery to try and play through teams. And I thought he was brilliant at that. We pulled up a good example of this from quite early on in the game, and we've highlighted sort of Armstrong picking the ball up in the central or centre of the pitch, and he can just like has the vision to find that ball through four players there into Carlson. He just fires that pass, takes four of them out of the game, and Carlson obviously has the ability to sort of take that on the half turn. And just yeah, as I said, just finding those line breaking passes that we weren't doing, particularly in the game against Dundee United the other week on the review show, we just showed how many times we just elected to not go for the more
Mm.
risky pass. Yes, there's a chance you lose the ball here, but as we can be shown to the next graphic, by playing that sort of riskier, more vertical pass, Carlson could take it on the half turn, and he's just got a shot on goal straight away. And it just shows the sort of you do need bravery to play these passes, and you need to execute them where you can. But the risk reward is really high. And just as we showed there, Carlson gets a good shot on goal, which is saved. And what I just wanted to sort of call out from this sort of second example as well is just the number of bodies we have forward. Carlson takes the shot, but he's supported by Arshish and Nisbet each side, and then the wing backs push really high, which I like to see. Again, sort of showing how much attacking intent we had, despite having defenders on the park. He perhaps could maybe play in a Gyamfi here, who looks like he's asking for the ball, but again, the quality of his sort of ball striking, I've got no issue as well with him taking a long shot. But yeah, just really good that just a clear example of like finding those vertical line breaking passes and how good that is and how crucial that is to breaking down teams in a lower block. Back onto Armstrong, or what I really liked in this example, the next example for the second or the third goal rather.
Let's go. Yeah.
I love he just makes a run from centre midfield down the like sort of left channel, and that's something I just don't think our centre mids have been doing enough. To be honest, we've kind of been sticking to our own positions, which makes it really easy or quite easy for oppositions to know where we're going to be or to mark us and keep us quiet. The intelligence of his movement to sort of drift into that pocket of space down the left hand side, almost like a winger, worked really well. Gyamfi plays a good sort of 1-2 with him. One of the longest 1-2s I've seen, to be honest. It was yeah, really really impressive. But what I wanted to pull out in the example or the final example was just the quality of that ball in
Yeah.
to meet the run of Gyamfi.
Yeah.
Again, we've been in these positions in recent weeks where we've just not had the final ball executed, and just that sort of quality of pass right into his stride. Gyamfi doesn't have to break stride at all. Great sort of desire from him to get into the box, and a really good finish with his weaker foot as well. But again, it just showcases the passing range that Armstrong has, and yeah, I thought he was absolutely terrific. So hopefully more of that to come.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question. So has the international break come at a good or a bad time for us? Personally, I feel like we're kind of almost having to reset again against St Mirren in a couple of weeks.
It does feel a little bit like that. You do want to try and build up as much momentum as you can.
Mm,
Often when you're playing badly, that's when the fixtures come thick and fast, which we kind of
yeah.
felt in recent weeks. And now we've got a good result, and we're having to wait a couple of weeks. So yeah, I do. I know what you mean. The one positive, I guess, it gives the team and Yemi more chance to sort of get used to this new formation.
Yeah.
It was interesting hearing even Carlson say that in his interview after the game. He mentioned that it takes a bit of time to get used to new systems and just even new players gelling. Like say Carlson and Gyamfi on the left have only played a couple of times together, so just having a bit more time on the training pitch to get to know each other's games can be helpful. But yeah, I would prefer that we were just getting straight into the next game
Mm,
next Saturday. But it will be tough. I mean, it's kind of a bogey ground for
yeah.
us. I've
Yeah.
not seen. It was also sort of where that winless run started last
Right.
season. So yeah, it would be a nice place to exercise some of those demons and
Yeah.
sort of get a win. It would be a great if we could actually get a result there because we've just not had many positive results in St Mirren recently. So if we continue with that quality of performance, I don't see why we shouldn't. We should go in with confidence. Hopefully, we've shown or showcased what we can do. I thought we've looked really solid. Even in general, like if you look at the number of goals we've conceded this season, even in set plays as well, I think we've looked solid. So I think we should be well placed to stand up to the test of St Mirren, and just hopefully we can put in a similar level of performance.
All right, fella. Thank you so much as always for coming on, and so enjoy the next couple of weeks, and we'll see you after the St Mirren game.
Yep, have a good
All
one.
right, all right, mate.
Thank you. Bye.
Ta-da, ta-da. Thank you so much, Andrew. As always, just before we move on, a gentle reminder that Ali Beg ABTV is also brought to you, supported and sponsored by Craig International, who are very much at the forefront of global procurement, with a number of offices strategically placed all over the world to service your procurement needs. They are on the European continent in Hamburg, Germany, home base in Aberdeen. They're also in the Middle East, in Qatar, Dubai, and Oman. They also service the Far East in Singapore, and they also are out in the Southern Hemisphere in Australia. So if you're looking for any sort of procurement services, I suggest you get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with them. Nobody does it better. Next game, couple of weeks to wait until after the international break. We travel to a ground where we've not had much luck recently. The odd win here and there, but overall it's been a bit of a bogey team. So St Mirren on Saturday, 18th of October, a couple of weeks on Saturday, kick off 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Can I also, just very quickly before I get you guys on, just remind you that I'm extremely humbled to have been shortlisted for the Best International Podcast at the Football Content Awards. And what I need you to do now is I need your help to vote for me, if you would be so kind, to help me see if I can win either gold, silver, or bronze. Obviously, we would love to bring home the gold, but I'd be just absolutely thrilled to get either. Doesn't really matter. But I do need your help. So if you wouldn't mind following those instructions, go to Football Content Awards, just follow the instructions, and please give us a wee vote. I'd be very, very grateful if you would please consider it. Don't forget to press like if you're enjoying the show as well. Right, I think we've waffled on enough. Let's get you guys on now. All right, let's take you all the way back to the top. There we go. Let's pause that video. Okay. Johnny Wilson came on. He said, good team performance. That was always coming with the squad in the right formation. Great finish by Carlson. Nisbet needs a goal, though. Yeah, I take your point. Cameron Young says, hello, Ali. Brilliant result yesterday, and hopefully that will continue after the international break against St Mirren. And that's us clicked again. Kenneth McPherson says, finally, we found our mojo. Can we play Dundee every week? Ryan Ellington is here and he says, good evening, fellow dandies. What a brilliant game yesterday. Me and my uncle were at Pataudry. We both had a fantastic time. Jesper Karlsson, Adil Ashish and Emmanuel Gyamfi were absolute highlights, as were the rest of the team. Best choice of players and formation. Continue playing like that, and hopefully we will continue climbing the table. Hugh Burns is here. How are we doing, Hugh? Hopefully yesterday puts paid to any Yimmy for the sack nonsense. Kenneth McPherson says, too much invested in this group of players and the best is yet to come. Kenneth Ritchie says, there's definitely something special about Carlson. Will he be up there with Jess and Hillhouse? Ooh, keeping some company, fella. David Horn says, good evening, everybody. A great performance from the team yesterday. Carlson was just brilliant to watch. Hugh Burns came back and said, whilst we should have beaten an abject Dundee 7-0, that was still a very good performance, and why I love trotting down Merkland Road for every game and not be in two minds whether to bother. Jimmy has probably stumbled upon a formation, but who cares? He was big enough to bin the 4-2-3-1, so let's all get behind him. Couldn't agree more, Hugh. He goes on to say 3-4-2-1 for the foreseeable. Kenneth McPherson said, Carlson is hot with a great strike surrounded by 4 Dundee players. It's just brilliant feat, wasn't it? Just brilliant feat to make space to get the shot away, and what a finish. Big Alute 84. Never been a fan of 3 at the back, but it appears to be working. Will we move back to a 4 once confidence builds? Good question. Colin Gale says, realistically, Devlin should have been rested after his excellent performance, but placing him at centre-back allowed him and Jensen to play without Devlin having a second energy-sapping second game in a row. Absolutely, Colin. Steve Williamson says, I'm now getting really excited for our trip to Athens. Not far away now. Richard Mickey McMillan says, that's us surely back now. Get the games rolling in. Come on, you Reds. Norman Baker says, wonderful game to watch. Great feeling. Famine to feast. Well done, everyone. Carlson looks a real class act. Was it 5 Dundee defenders he dribbled round before turning and scoring? Bruce Strother said it was an excellent performance. Tactics spot on. Starting 11 spot on. Carlson finally showing his class. More of the same from now on, please, he says. Ryan Murray says, different formation, different results. Glad Yemi finally switched formation as it wasn't working. Whole team looked much more cohesive and now their job and willing to graft more balance as well. Alfie Dello says, good evening all. What a great performance yesterday. Hopefully they can keep that going now. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, a lot better yesterday. Let's start climbing up the table. Neil Sinclair says, yesterday's game was a pleasure to watch. Some superb football being played. Just need more of the same going forward. Neil was here wishing you a good evening. Alan McDonald said, I knew the performance was coming, but what about that Lazetic assist? I think Aberdeen may have found a real player there. I agree with you. I said after the Shakhtar game, I actually thought he merited a start, but absolutely get why the manager put him on the bench. Came on just at the right time for me. And again, just there's bundles of energy there. That's what I really like about the boy. Strength, real strength. Got a physicality about him, which I think is slightly missing with Kevin Nisbet, which makes defenders uncomfortable. And he's also got a lovely touch. He's really got a nice touch. He's a player. He's a really, really good player. Martin Smith says, thought first half was excellent, some good passing and movement. Felt we took the foot off the gas after the fourth went in, but that's the only downside of the game. Alfie Dello came back to say Gyamfi, Lazetic and Carlson looked class acts yesterday, but the whole team put in a great performance. Yeah, a lot of you are talking about Gyamfi, how well he played, particularly in that position. David Gold Rally Vids is here wishing you a good evening. As is Paul Donaldson, great result and performance yesterday. Alan Smart says, it's normal after a European tie, clubs tend to struggle to get a good result and performance in the next league game. That certainly wasn't the case on Sunday. Very encouraging. Alan S. said, saw Yimi after the lap of honour before going down the tunnel speaking to Mats Knuster with a big smile on his face. Looked like a man who had just had the whole weight of the world lifted off his shoulders. Dave Sharp says, I thought at times we were sensational in the first half. Some of our movement was brilliant. We were sold in the second. Kirstin is here. She says, very good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. What a performance yesterday, especially in the first half. Shinnie, Carlson, Gyamfi and Armstrong were brilliant. We played better as a team. Again, a lot of comments about how well we played as a team yesterday. Most of the comments, I would say, are all you're just all cock a hoop about Jesper Karlsson. Ian Byron says, hi Ali, what a brilliant weekend. The Dons winning and the news that Rush will be performing live again. Rush? Who are... Oh no. Who are Rush? I'm so sorry. Don't mean to be offensive, but who are Rush? Gavin Duncan says, we were excellent yesterday. So needed a performance like that. Delighted for the lads and Yimmy too. Barry Cole is here. How are we doing, Barry? Good to see formation has started to work. International break will now give us more time to work on a formation for the St Mirren game. David Goldrally said the opposite. International break comes at the wrong time. Hopefully they can keep it going after the break. Erica's here. She said absolutely delighted with the win yesterday. We've turned a corner. A very happy crowd at Pittodrie. So let's keep it going. Interesting that there were 1,000 more fans at the Dundee game than there were at the Shakhtar game. I found that quite interesting. What do you put that down to? I would have expected more games to be at the European night. Brilliant. I thought it was great. John Moore says, for me, it's more about consistency. Can Yumi deliver? He says, I'm still not so sure. Ooh, John. Julie Bruce says, I loved Adil's goal scoring from lying on the ground. I know, right? Red Army says, we're just poking a bit of fun here. Please have a moment's silence for the loss of Russell Martin. Gutted, as he's done a wonderful job. Gavin Duncan says, just pray we stick with this setup now. Right, let me drag you right down to the bottom. I want to see what you're saying from the bottom up. Kenneth McPherson. Rush are a rock band from Canada. I'm so sorry, I still don't know. I'll have to Google later. Staban says, good evening. All the last two performances, Shakhtar and Dundee, have seen a huge improvement in performance and effort. A great team performance on Sunday. Let's kick on and start climbing the table, he says. Dave B says that Rush are slightly different to Bad Boys Inc. Let's be honest, I think every band was slightly different to Bad Boys Inc. Just a touch. Paul Hannon says, late on, not been feeling too great. Hope you're okay now, Paul, but still loving the result. Long may it continue. Sandra McPherson says, that turn on the fourth goal, better than anything on Strictly. Dave B. We don't talk about it anymore, fella. Gavin Duncan said, it reminds me of Hibs changing formation last season and hopefully the run that they went on. John Helmsley says, amazing game. All the players excelled. Really excited for the rest of the season. David Goldrallyvid is just giving you a gentle nudge to keep liking the show. We've got nearly 300 of you watching tonight, which is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. So just press the old like button. It helps me massively. Stephen Cowie says, I've been impressed by Carlson's foot-to-ball connection speed. He gets a great high-pace strike on the ball at both penalties and the goal strikes. It seems to set him apart. Alexander Wallace complimenting about my look tonight. You complimented me last week about the shirt and now you're complimenting me about a new jumper. You guys. By the way, talking about that shirt, the Dinamo Tirana one. So, honestly, so many of you have got in touch with me. So this is the update. So I've spoken to my pal about it. He's fully aware. So what they're going to do is they're going to manufacture a bundle more. And then when it's ready, he's going to let me know. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a direct link on my socials to where you can now buy the shirt. So bear with us. We are on it. Everybody's fully aware. Everybody's fully prepped. I had a very, very long list of names that I had to give to the dude. So all it's about now is just a waiting game. I will get the link to you as soon as I can. And then you just deal with it through the direct link. I think that Dinamo Tirana shirt is going to be very popular in the next few weeks. Isn't it a beauty? Honestly, I've got it hanging up now over there. I absolutely love it. Graham Gibbs says St Mirren under Robinson had a poor performance and result on Saturday, but they do tend to bounce back in the next game. Maybe the break is not such a bad thing. Steve Cowie is suggesting it would be great if the lads would get a bounce game next weekend to keep the tempo up. Tutty Tree and Turd says, just back in Ireland after taking in the 2 games. Fantastic displays. Yeah, again, I have to say, you saw the shots of the Fans Project flag display in the South Stand. Thanks to my good friend Angus Fraser for taking that video for me. My former babysitter, Angus Gus Fraser. How good was it, by the way, the display? Honestly, I saw a tweet, or a post, whatever you call it these days, of a Dundee United fan who said that the Dundee United displays and tifos are the 3rd best in the country behind Celtic and Rangers. Are you absolutely having a laugh? Honestly, sometimes I just really, mate. I can't get my head around stuff like that. Let me tell you, Aberdeen are by a country mile better than anybody else in the country when it comes to displays and tifos. They are 100 times better than anything that Celtic do. 1,000,000 times better than anything that Rangers do. Come on. Oh. Barry Cole says we need to break the St Mirren hoodoo. We do, Barry. JR says Carlson's different class. We'd best be appreciating his talent while we have the chance. Couldn't agree more, mate. Do you know, a few people have... do you know, Barry Cole's just written a really interesting comment. I had 4 or 5 messages about this on Sunday, about Sivert Hilton Nielsen. And this is not having a go at him, but it's an observation from a lot of you. So Barry says, I watched Nielsen before the game, and all he did was watch Dundee warming up. He stood in the centre circle and did very little warming up, not sure what he's doing. Do you know, I got to be honest, right? I thought about that. Now, because he was a sub, he doesn't overly have to join in the warm-up. He's got time to warm up during the first half, at half-time, and then before he comes on. So doing a rigorous warm-up before the game, I don't overly have an issues with substitutes not doing that. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. What I think he was doing was observing and reporting back. That's what I think he was doing. And it's just little things like that sometimes can offer the manager just little nuggets here and there. He just gets a feel for how Dundee are preparing, what their body language is like. Are they going at it full pelt? Are they half-hearted? So it's just an observation, I think, from Nielsen, and then reporting back to the manager or the coaches to say, right, this is what they did, this is what they were like. I don't have an issue with that. I got to be honest, I quite like it. The Mad Ferret says, that's more like it, Dandies. Hats off to the lads for an outstanding performance, especially in the first half. Upwards and onwards. Danny Mullins has just come back on. Danny, how are you doing, fella? So just let me read you out his comment. Can I just say this before I go, Ali? The messages and comments from the community on here and at Pittodrie on Sunday by our fans has been overwhelming, and I would like to say a huge thank you to all Dandies. Danny, so if you didn't know, Danny unfortunately has been diagnosed with a very severe illness, and he came on last week and he very bravely told us all about his illness and what will be now a very difficult fight for him and a very difficult battle. So Danny, we reiterate what we said last week, that everybody here on Ali Beg ABTV and all your family and all your friends and the wider Aberdeen Football Club fan community. We're 100% behind you, fella. You keep fighting. Keep fighting. Think of your daughters. Just think of those girls, mate. Right, guys, we are done. We've done nearly 40 minutes. I want to get home to my kids. So, we've got nothing for 2 weeks. Oh, I hate international breaks. Okay, so this is what we're planning. We're still going to be doing shows. Going to do a sort of a mini review of the season so far and the past few weeks. So I'm going to be recording that on Wednesday or Thursday. Keep an eye on it, and I will try and get it out as quickly as I can. Don't forget, give us a wee like. Keep pushing the old subscription button. I know it doesn't cost anything. I know I'm asking a lot of you. It doesn't cost anything. It just means you're following. And again, I'd be really grateful if you would please consider voting for me for the Football Content Award. Right, guys, keep an eye on my socials because there will be content coming up before our preview show against St Mirren. So take very good care of yourselves. Stand free. Oh, isn't it good to be back with a win?